I'm here. I'm here. Put your pants back on. All right, happy Monday, everyone. Roll that, thank you. So according to a new poll, 86 of Americans now agree that Joe Biden is too old for a second term. And the other 14% say he's too old for last rites. I know, that was harsh. Now, you know you're in trouble when the percent of Americans who say you're too old is actually higher than your age. We can't get 86% of people to oppose murder. But think about it, 86%. Americans are finally united. Joe Biden's promise finally came through. He brought us together. In believing that he's a mess, but still. What's even sadder, however, is that it took a special prosecutor's investigation to convince dead-end Democrats to come around to what's been obvious to us for a long time, that they're as brain dead as he is. Robert Hur's investigation may have been about Biden's handling of classified documents, but in the end, it was really a wellness check on the old guy in the White House that's been missing in action. And the result is exactly what we already knew. The lights are on, but no one's home. Now, you know things are bad for the left when you've lost a female who slept with Bill Clinton, but also Hillary Clinton.
I talk to people in the White House all the time, and, you know, they know it's an issue, but as I like to say, look, it's a legitimate issue.
So Hillary went from this to this. Pretty clever. Oh, shut up. So maybe she's thinking, though, that she can replace Biden once Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama kill themselves. You know, it's not against the law to pose questions. But it gets worse. Over at the progressive mothership, the New York Times ran no fewer than 3 editorials focusing on this dark moment in Biden's presidency, questioning his temperament and cognitive sharpness. They even included it in their Sunday crossword puzzle, 9 across. The hint was ice cream eating cadaver that farts dust. Terrible. So bad. Quote, the combination of Biden's age and his absence from the public stage has eroded the public's confidence, the paper said. He looks as if he's hiding or worse, being hidden. True, if the staffers could, they'd throw a sheet over him, but that would only bring back memories of lunch with Robert Byrd. He was in the KKK.
Yep.
Just so you remind people. So Joe's lost it, and the Dems are freaking out. On CNN, Democratic advisor Paul Begala said this.
I'm a Biden supporter, and I slept like a baby last night. I woke up every 2 hours crying and went to bed. This is terrible for Democrats.
Yeah, terrible for Democrats, but also terrible for your wife. I mean, she's married to Paul Begala, and he wets the bed. But there are holdouts still. The LA Times asserts that because Joe came of age when politicians once took on big causes, it's actually Biden's age that is his superpower. Right. That's like saying Iron Man's superpower is rust. Here's a closer look at Super Joe. Can you tell me what superpower this is?
Ban on transgender Americans.
Let's go lick the world.
We cheer for Muslim athletes like Kareem and Joan Shingang. I'm going to pronounce her. Shanga Kawawa.
Of Putin's kleptocracy, kleptocracy, and the guys who are the kleptocracies.
Apparently, Joe's superpowers don't include talking and walking. If he were a superpower, his name would be the Stumbler. Of course, the White House is pushing back, saying we don't blame Republicans for their desperation to forget the Biden presidency. Well, no, the problem isn't Republicans trying to forget. Remember, the report says Joe doesn't know when he was vice president. He's the one doing the forgetting. But the question I keep having is this really dementia? What if that illness was guilty of stolen valor? I mean, even a young Joe Biden was a dishonest, amoral, narcissistic ass. Saying Joe has dementia is like saying heroin may cause drowsiness. I mean, for Joe, dementia may be the frosting on an already up cake. And that's a problem for America, which is why the Dems are getting desperate and stupid. The Biden-Harris campaign just joined Communist China's social media platform, TikTok. This after Biden had signed a law banning TikTok from government phones. Luckily, he's too senile to be prosecuted. But let's not forget, TikTok's mission is to brainwash American users. Luckily, again, Biden remains immune. You can't wash what you don't have. It's why you never see Michael Loftus at a laundromat. He doesn't have clothes. All right, but as Biden skipped the traditional Super Bowl Sunday interview, the White House released a video with Joe complaining about snacks.
The Super Bowl Sunday. If you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two while watching the big game. You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. A bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're still charging you just as much. I've had enough of what they call shrinkflation. I'm calling on companies to put a stop to this.
Ugh, man. He's the reason for it. Yeah, potato chip bags used to be fuller, you know, like Joe's Depends are today. But think about it. He's bashing snacks on the biggest snack day in the universe. Talk about not reading the room. It's like bringing up Roe v. Wade at a baby shower. Thank you, Michael. Now, the Her report sets up an unsolvable equation. Call it the Biden paradox. If Joe Biden is too incompetent to be charged, then how can he be competent to be our president? And if he is competent to be president, then why wasn't he charged like Trump was? Apparently, the answer, as Jonathan Turley points out, is for the White House to claim the fault lies with Robert Hur, not the president who can't tell Egypt from Mexico. But as Joe would say, denial isn't just a river in Tijuana. Let's speak directly to the media, those legacy reporters who continue to deny what nearly all Americans know to be true. This is a watershed moment. We've all heard the Her report. We've seen the conclusions from someone who got to interview the president without you, the media, running interference. If you're ever going to regain any credibility, you might want to come clean. Otherwise, you're going to end up just like Joe Biden, with one foot in the grave and the other in your mouth. Let's welcome tonight's guests. His pronouns are ho and bo. Founder of the LoftusParty.com, Michael Loftus. We promise not to whack her at the end of tonight's show. Actress and co-founder of Ultra Free, Drea De Matteo. She's like the leftover wings from last night. Hot, dry, and bony. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Kat Tiff. And he uses a hockey stick to pick his teeth. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion, Tyrus. Michael, you, as a homeless lesbian, you hang out in these...
I prefer the term environmentally friendly same-sex engineer.
Okay.
My
When you're around
pronouns
a
are
lot
hey
of
now.
old, demented people, do you give the media any credit now that they're admitting it?
Well, here's what they're admitting, that they're in bed with the Democrat Party trying to show Joe the door, right? And they're trying to make it about, oh, it's about age, it's about age. No, it's about him being a mental midget, and he has been for a really long time. But you can't change it up at this point in the game. It's like going to Vegas, right? And you're playing blackjack, and then the dealer oh, now I got 23. You know what? This is about age. This is really, I don't want that. Sorry. Joe sucks now, and he's always sucked. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Bowling balls are sharper. Ice cream is sharper. That's why he enjoys ice cream, because it makes him feel smart.
Yeah, you know what? He started off with a deficit. If anybody grew up with him, you knew that. He was, what do they say, all hat, no cattle? He's all hair plugs and no cattle.
And he makes me really nervous when he starts talking about snacks.
Yes.
I didn't like that TikTok. He's like, and if you're like me, I'm not like you. If you're like me, you get a stranger's 8-year-old and try to smell their hair.
Drea, I am so excited that you're here. I love The Sopranos. I love you, even though you don't remember meeting me in 2000 at a strip club.
I'm sure we were wasted.
We were pretty high. At least I wasn't. You were, but I never did drugs. Can't say that enough. What do you make of what's going? Do you think Joe's still going to be on the ticket? What do you think's happening?
I mean, first of all, I think he was right about one thing. One thing, the snacks. That's it. Just the freaking snacks. But I mean, listen, I voted for him. And I've never voted. Yes. I know. No. It's right. You're right. Come on. More.
What's wrong with you people?
Do I have to call Christopher?
Listen,
Do I have to call Christopher?
I know, you got a whack.
Does he have to come down here? It's going to be an accident. We have a guest in our house. You will act accordingly. You will not be children.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be really honest because, no one values that anymore. So it.
Yeah.
I have never voted in my life. I was anti-establishment my whole life, probably more on the libertarian side. And my daughter convinced me to vote for Biden when all hell broke loose with the whole, because my nanny was illegal.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, we have to take care of her. I had to spend all this friggin' money to take care of her. And we were afraid we couldn't get her to New York.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole big thing. Now, I have never felt more regret in my life. Because I will say, a president...
You guys just won him over. Kat, would you like to say something that gets boos or applause?
How are you spelling booze?
I actually don't let that dictate what I say. I'm gonna say that I saw that LA Times headline over the weekend about how Joe's age was a superpower. I saw it on Twitter and I was like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna fall for it.
Yeah.
So I would look for it and I was like, okay, it's real. But I was like, I'm not gonna be one of those idiots that only reads the headline because I would hate when people did that to me. A lot of times the writer doesn't choose the headline. Couldn't possibly be saying that this is a good thing. I read the whole thing. It is what he was saying. Within the third sentence, he actually said that his age was his superpower. And so I kept reading. I'm like, at some point, the author of this will acknowledge that we have some sort of right to be concerned about the things that we've seen. Nope. He goes, the presidency doesn't require carrying sofas up the White House stairs. Don't gaslight me. He can't carry himself up the stairs, okay? And then... I'm like, maybe the next sentence, and it's like, well, science increasingly finds that aging brains make more connections. Okay, that may be true. Aging brains make more connections. That doesn't mean that his brain makes any connections. He can't make any connections. For example, the connection between when a person dies, you can't hang out with them on Earth anymore, and they're probably not in the room. Let's start with that one. Nowhere in the article at all did they acknowledge that what we're watching is not a superpower.
No. We used to be a superpower. Remember that, Tyrus? But with his superpower, we're no longer a superpower.
Listen, his age is a superpower. I hate to disagree. Don't hit me. His age is a superpower.
Yeah.
It's his dementia that's it up. Because we have brilliant old people everywhere. Grandmas and grandpas with great minds and stories. They put that number. It's his age. It's not his age. It's his mouth.
Yeah.
And the fact that his eyes can't even work together to be open at the same time. He's like this. That TikTok video was so bad. You saw how many cuts was in a 15-second? That was 15 cuts. He literally got one sentence. Cut, reset, zoom in, say another word. He has dementia.
Yeah.
And he probably started 10 years ago. So we called it gaffes. And also he has the evil old man filter. And I can't wait to get mine. When we get old and we just say doesn't make any sense. And luckily for him, he has a stutter. Because a few weeks ago, he said, if you're going to mess with a woman, you better benefit from it. But what he said, that's what he tried to say. But what we heard was, when you mess with a woman, the beneficiary. So he says some wild, evil, but the dementia is saving him.
Yes.
By making him forget midstream sentence. So he can be 86, he can be 90. I met a 92-year-old lady this weekend that knew every joke, had all this stuff together. I would let her, it's not take the number off the table.
Yeah.
It's his brain, it's pudding, period.
All right. We must move on. What an A block.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.